Hello everybody, going live for Tuesday Talks. Today we have an amazing soul called Hina Fatima, and she is an amazing person. And she does quite a lot of stuff. We will get her to come on and do the introduction. Hi, how are you
Hello,
doing?
I am well. How are you doing, Zishan?
I am well, fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining, and thank you for your time.
Thank It's a pleasure being here and talking to you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Same here as well. So I've done a short, very short introduction for you already to start with. But in true Choose the Talk styles, I'll pass you the mic by introducing yourself and letting us know who you are, what you do, and the ultimate question that will start all this conversation will be, why do you do it?
Well, my name is Hina Fatima. I am a doctor by education. I would say I studied from Pakistan. I completed my MBBS and then I came to US. But unfortunately, I was not able to pursue my career as a doctor. So I went into a research field, and now I kind of practice NLP coach, and I'm very passionate about this because one of the reasons because it takes me back to who I am, as a doctor, as a person. I like to help people. And then I do realize that a lot of people out there, especially women, they tend to be silent sufferers. So they kind of suffer from a lot of depression, anxiety, and especially from the part of the world that I come from, we have our in-laws issues and stuff. And then when I moved to US, I had trouble settling in, although I was educated. I was a doctor myself. I did not have any language barriers or anything, but still it took me time to settle. It took me almost 3-4 years to finally accept that I was there and, kind of start liking America. So the reason I started doing this was to help women. And I also realized that a lot of women, because it comes from my heart too, that we have a lot of unresolved issues. We have things that have happened in the past, stuff that we don't talk about. There's and a lot of things that women go through, which they would rather speak to somebody who understood, who maybe would have gone through it themselves, or even if they did not, but they would kind of understand. They would kind of empathize. There's a difference when we say, yeah, we understand, or we agree, or we understand what you're going through, but you don't actually understand it till you've gone through it. So that's why it's one of my passion. I like to help women a lot, especially because I myself underwent a postpartum depression, and I've called myself a survivor. So I've survived a lot of things. So to be here where I am right now, I've gone through a lot, and believe me, it's not just me. Many women do. So that's why I'm here.
Wow, what an amazing story. So you're not just a survivor, but you are you are not just surviving, you are thriving now.
Right.
You are thriving now with all this that you've built, and you're helping everybody out there, and you've recognized the passion that you have, turned it into to help all the other women out
Yes.
there who are going through similar scenarios. I know you mentioned from the background you're in, and you're the part of the country you're in, right? The part of the world you're in. I know, coming from a similar background, I do understand that it's a taboo subject, right? You don't get to talk about what's depression. That does not exist because nobody talks about it. What is depression? There's not no such thing as that. You just carry on living life, right? Continue day by day. You just wake up, do your things, and then the next day, then the next day.
A few, like, everybody undergoes depression. Every normal individual feels depressed at some point in time. Like, it's just not possible for one person to be in a constant state of happiness or in a constant state of where they're feeling, okay, they've achieved something in life, you know. So you do go up, do come down. It's very normal. Even in our, you know, in the psychiatric world, they have certain, they have a criteria to define if somebody is suffering from a, you know, a proper depressive disorder. So like a depression, something like that I may suffer or you may suffer, it may not necessarily fall in that category. You know, there are certain symptoms that they need to have, and for a long period of time. And again, one more important thing, Zishan, a lot of times people think that people grow out of it. You know, they assume, you know, depression comes and you grow through it. Or for example, if you've had any kind of traumatic experience, you know. And here I would like to kind of also point out that trauma has many different kinds. You see, so many things can leave such a you know, drastic, such a disturbing kind of impact on your mind. Small things such as, you know, just a road traffic accident, or maybe a loss of a loved one, you know, from those things to big things like maybe being abused, and, you know, or maybe being harassed, you know. And even with abuse, unfortunately, especially in Pakistan and this part of the world, people take this term, they think that it's related to just sexual harassment and stuff like that. But there are so many different kinds of abuse. You know, there's financial abuse, there's emotional abuse, you know, there's even when you're bullying somebody, you're discriminating against them over the way they look or what their educational or financial background is. All this comes in abuse, you know, and these leave an impact. You know, I do know, I come across a lot of people who come to me, you know, who are my clients, like simple things such as, you know, being harassed, bullied as a child, you know, or being compared to their siblings. You know, I've had a client who constantly was in a state of battle with her siblings, you know. And you just think and you just believe that you kids would grow out of it. And now she's over 40 years old, and all of that issues have come back, and now she's literally fighting her in-laws. And what she's doing is she's basically bringing back all that trauma from her childhood, you know. So it's important to tackle these. It's important to heal from these. And that's what I help people do. You know, and one of the reasons I joined this profession to help was because when I needed help, I realized that even, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of, you know, psychiatrists or therapists who are out there, they're not, they are there, they do listen to you, but then sometimes if they pass any comment which is judgmental, which kind of points out, okay, something is wrong with you, or maybe you did something wrong, or you puts a label on you, then you're put off. You don't want to go back to them. And I've been to a couple of therapists like that, and then I realized, no, you can't judge a person. You just cannot judge a person for the way they behave or for what they've gone through, because everybody, believe me, has some kind of history, you know. So our anger, our resentment, our whatever our issues are, it's coming from somewhere. So we need to kind of go and touch where it's coming from and help them heal from there. You know, it's so common. We just kind of label people with, okay, they have anger issues, or they have other issues, you know, or they have they are codependent, or they have low self-esteem and stuff like that. But no, you know, it's these are real issues. People really suffer, and it's important to help these people.
I love that, and what you've just mentioned all there, you know, and especially that you've highlighted quite major issues within the industry itself, you know, because yeah, you know, you're speaking your heart out, and you're trying to understand what's happening by telling the story again, or first for someone to is already brave enough to tell that story, that is pretty much going through that all over again. You know, that's bringing the trauma to the surface, or the pain, or the, you know, the experience, whatever the feelings are, they're coming back to the surface by telling that story. And then to get some sort of a comment or a label, for you to just feel like, oh, yeah, that maybe I did that wrong, right? It shouldn't be there. It should be to case. It should, as you said, it should be time to just find out, where did this start from? Because in certain stage of your life, something should have happened where your body reacted and your mind.
Childhood. It always starts from childhood. Yes.
I agree. 100% I agree. I am one of those firm believers that everything that you do in your adult life has a root in your childhood, you know. So I'm not a professionally, but I do a lot of research on the mindset side of things. So there was a research that I read on the mind, is everything that the child is going through now, for growing up from age of 5, but they started very early as well. So age of 2 already, they have started by watching and looking at everything that you are doing in the house. So that, for example, parents, aunties, whoever they are. So they're looking at what they do already. So for them, that becomes normal. Okay, this is what we do. This is what we do. You get up, you go there, you do this. And that's what then they are trying to do. That's when you see them trying to crawl everywhere, trying to get up everywhere.
That's what they know. You know, a lot of times when people come and, you know, and you tell them that there's another way, and they can't see it, they don't know that there's another way, although they may know it in a larger picture, but when it comes to them, they see, no, there is no way out. You know, this is the only way, this is the only thing I know. And yeah, you actually have to teach them, no, there is another way. You always have a choice, you know. If you and also I would like to you know, comment on, you just said that when we relive our stories, this is something that we do all the time, you know. And this is also one of the, you know, it's a highlight of post traumatic stress syndrome, reliving your stories. Even if you're not telling them, you're telling them to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important to change that story. It's so important to put a stop to that story. It's so important to grow out from that story, because even if that story happened, say, 10 minutes ago, now you're 10 minutes older. You're 10 minutes smarter. You've grown 10 minutes, you know. So, and it takes time. I'm not saying it's easy. It's easier said than done. But I do always tell everybody, take the help you need. Please seek the help you need. Don't let it go. Don't think that it will go away, because even if it goes away right now, it's going to come back, and it's going to come back and hit you hard. It's going to come back and hit your kids hard. So own it. Don't run away from it. Own your story. Don't run away from it. Don't shy from it, but don't kind of, you know, stay in that guilt, or relive it and feel that, okay, I am this. You are not that story. You own it. It belongs to you. It's part of you, but you are not that story. You can change it. You can become a better person. In fact, you've become a better person already.
I love this. I love this. And another thing that was going through my mind, and you just said it as well, you know, is to own your story. You know, you have a story that starts anyway when you're born. So that story is your life story, right? And other people have all these parts in it, especially until you are able to write your own. You're writing your own story since the time you're born anyway, because you are doing your things, right? You get help by that time. Everybody's helping you, assisting you to reach where you want to go, and maybe guide you to the things that are right or wrong, you know, because everybody does love to help you with that. And by that time, when the time comes for you to make your own decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is where all these things come back, right? Oh, I don't know how to make these decisions. I'm now out in the big world now. I need to do this. And then the traumas come in, and because you're not been taught how to survive that, and so forth, right? So this is where I'm a firm believer of, you know, to anything that we are doing as an adult, if you have kids or you look after any kids, it is being passed down to them. You know, whether that's consciously or subconsciously, they are watching, and it's been told to them that this is how things happen, right?
And there is no shame in asking for help. And here also I would, as we said, the difference between a therapist and a coach and a counselor and a psychiatrist is that we as coaches, we're helping you move forward, so we're not trying to actually kind of dig into your problems and create more stress or treat it in any way, although we can. I mean, if there is an issue and you need to be seen by a doctor, that's another thing. But we as coaches help you move forward, and there is no shame. And like you tell your kids, you tell your children that if you don't understand a math problem, ask your teacher, ask your sibling, sister, ask your parent. There's no shame, because that's how you learn. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the same with adults. There should be no shame. And this taboo of that people are somehow crazy, like if I'm depressed, like I had two daughters. I have two daughters, in fact. So I had a postpartum depression, severe in both the times. And I, being a doctor myself, I did not seek help because we have this notion. Although I'm a doctor myself, but we have this notion that the medications can be harmful. You can become addicted to them. The antidepressants and stuff. And then one of my friends, she's like, you need to, if you're suffering, why are you suffering? These doctors are out there to help you. These coaches are out there to help you. Why are you suffering? If your child suffers, would you let them suffer? If they need help, would you let them suffer and not get the help they need? No, you won't. Why do we do it to ourselves? We do it to ourselves. We're actually being cruel to ourselves just because it's us, and we don't want to change our lives. And this again is a habit. When we don't want to take control of our lives, we like to maybe suffer. We like to kind of tell the people how hard our lives are, how much we're suffering, because I don't know. And it's the truth. I'm owning it. That it's this victim feeling. It makes us feel somehow empowered, that there are these other people who are trying to control us and we're victims. People don't like to listen to that. And that's the truth bomb out there. Your friend will listen to you crying once, twice, thrice. And then she will say, hey, Hina, get up, stand on your feet. You have two hands, you have two legs. Go out there, make a difference. You can change your life. So it is up to us. We have to take control of our lives.
I
Yeah.
agree with that 100%. 100% I agree with that. And especially when you mentioned that we tend to like the state of being a victim. And there's so many things regards to, right? So some people enjoy being the victim side of thing, but by enjoy, I mean they're happy with being in that circle of victim because they're getting the support, right? So they maybe just like that support. People are coming and saying, "Oh, you okay? Okay, let me bring you something. Let me help you. I'll do this for you. I'll do that."
It becomes a bad habit, actually. So, and then you have to kind of get rid of that bad habit. I tell people, like, if your child develops a bad habit, what do you do? Or if they do something wrong, what do you do? Do you keep reminding them? Do you keep scolding them or saying things to them? No, you don't. You teach them. You teach them the right thing, and you have to be patient with them. They don't learn in one go. If you want to change a bad habit to a good habit, it takes time and it takes patience. That's what we have to do with ourselves. We, unfortunately, are not patient with ourselves. We want instant results, which is
And
so.
yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. I also believe for lots of people, which is men included as well. So there are a small number of men who suffer from similar things, but yeah, there's a large number of women who are out there. They talk about it.
Of men too. They don't talk about it because we want them to be manly. We think that it's manly not to talk about their problems, but believe me, in today's world, even with sexual harassment and abuse, men are suffering, boys are suffering. It's out there. And then, of course, other forms of abuse and traumas are out there too.
So this, I was going to ask you a question there now. So since you've been doing this, have you seen a change in the society of for your part of the world where you at? Because now the women are maybe talking more.
Uh, they are, I am not sure whether they're talking more, but they're more comfortable talking to me. They are reaching out to me, even men are. And what I see is that they're accepting that they need help, and they're seeking that help. And I never tell them that I'm the only person who can help you. I just tell them where they need help, and they are talking about it. They do accept it. Unfortunately, what's happening here, especially in Pakistan, is that because people are living in joint family systems, so you can never change other people. Like for me, because I'm in US and I have my own setup, so I can do my own thing. But here, when you have your in-laws and you have your sister-in-laws and you have your whole children and their children, and so people, when they suffer silently, and if there are toxic traits in any members of the family, and I teach them that you cannot change the other person. All you can change is yourself. But when you're living with them, it's so hard. You have to be so patient, so that is where kind of I struggle a bit, because I don't want to break away families also. I understand that. But then there are very deep rooted issues with the adults also. They don't want to change. Younger generation wants to change. They understand, but it's there. It's out there. It's that generation gap thing. It's there everywhere. So it's a little hard. But I'm glad people are now more aware. They're talking about it more, and they listen to me. At least when I go out, and my family members, even the generation before me, they do tell me that they listen to my talks. I am not sure whether they agree or not agree with it, but they do listen to it. So
Well,
as long as
that's a
I'm touching hearts, that I do know. Like, people are listening to me. that
wonderful,
I,
wonderful. That's a success already there, right? That
yeah,
you're touching hearts. People are listening to you. I mean, that's the best we can do is
yes,
to be out there and touch hearts and help. Whether then it depends on the other person if they want to be helped or they want to take the second step, because anything we are trying to do has to be two-way, right? Even the doctor who gives you medicine or looks after you, you still have to get up and go to the doctor, right? Without that, the doctor is not doing anything, right? He
yes,
can be there like, I'm the doctor, I'm going to help you. But if you say, I'm not sick, he's going to say, okay, I'm going, but you are sick. You just
yeah,
didn't want him to help you. So
yeah.
that's what you have to do. I also noticed that you are a trained suicide, the SSRS. What is that? If you want to
Yes.
elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yes, it's basically kind of a questionnaire kind of thing, which helps me understand if the other person has a suicidal tendency. So I'm actually trained in that. So like, if because people do come to me and they do share that sometimes they feel suicidal. So then I have these set of questions that makes me kind of know whether they're suicidal right now or how intense that situation is, and uh, where I can bring them, where I'd go like, okay, now this is a safe situation, that I know that from here they will not commit suicide, at least today or tomorrow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's what this training is basically. So I've been actually trained to keep a check on people who have a high tendency of suicide. But thank
Wow.
goodness haven't had anybody yet. People do come to me, with depression, and I do understand because I myself have gone through depression. So I do know that. I mean, I've had times when I've wanted to commit suicide, but it's never been that high where I said, okay, now I'm doing something. No. So that's where, you kind of just have a talk with the other person and you judge where they're at, you know.
Hmm. That's wow. That's amazing skill to have, right? To know those questions, because I mean, we all been through the certain side, side of depression where you're just thinking this is the end of the world, and the best thing to do is just not be here anymore, right? And then everything will be fine. It's tough decision. And that's a tough one, right? You need to have very strong ethics, or you have to be right at the edge to actually start thinking of these things, right?
one boy, and it was such a cute story, and he was upset. He was a medical student himself, and he was upset that his girlfriend left him, and he was like, I want to commit suicide and this and that. And I'm like, oh, you're becoming a doctor, you have a life ahead of you, and look at you, you're getting somewhere, and just for a girl. And then I listened to all his rant and everything, and for I don't know, for 45 minutes. And then in the end, what I said, I just told him, I'd go home and go. He went like, excuse me? I was like, go home and hug your mother. Just go and hug her and cry your heart out. I mean, of course, probably you won't be able to tell her why you're crying. Just cry your heart out and just know that she's there for you and she loves you and she cares for you, and that when you cry, you'll see her pain. She'll ask you what's going on. She'll be there for you. So there's no other reason for you to live but your mother right now. And till today, that boy, he just goes like, I've never seen a therapist like that. He goes like, never a therapist has said that, something like that to me. He was like, go and hug your mother. I'm like, yeah, that's the only solution. You want to commit suicide, go and hug your mother. Then you'll understand what your life is and what your life is to your. And
that is actually a brilliant thing that you said that, because when at that time you're just thinking of yourself and what's happened to me, and I don't what I need to do to just feel better, and you're not thinking of, once you're going to do this, who are going to get affected behind you, what the people you're going to leave behind with, and that's an amazing thing to just go and hug your mother. It's wow, it's touching. I mean, I even felt it when you said that to just now, and I was like, wow.
Talk at that time. He was like, what are you saying? He was like, you're talking crap. He was literally like that. I'm like, I'm telling you, just do that. You don't need any other therapy. You don't need anything. Just go and hug her. That's it. And even till today, he keeps saying that I've never seen something that amazing. I've never heard of something that amazing. Nobody has ever told me that go and hug your mom. Yeah.
Wow. That is such an amazing story. That and you're still in touch with that person, and he's doing good.
He's doing good. He's now a doctor. I think he's in final year. He's doing his house job, and he's now come back to life. I'm like, you have your life. You have to become a doctor. I told him, you have to travel the world. You come to US. He goes like, I don't want to go to US. I'm like, you go. Okay, you don't come. Go to Australia. Go to UK. Go anywhere in the world. And he goes like, no, I don't want to go. He was so angry. And I'm like, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm like, why not? Why not go to Switzerland? Why not go and enjoy your life? You're crying over a girl at the age of, I don't know, 20, 22. Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's living his life. He's all happy. He's doing wonderful.
Amazing. That's actually great, wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm sure people watching now or listening to it later as well will definitely learn a lot from that. So a quick question would be, since you started doing this, you had to become an entrepreneur to obviously reach out and basically this is your own business, which you had to then own and run. How was that journey for you as an entrepreneur?
It's a slow journey, but I like it because it's something that I like doing. As a business woman, I wouldn't say that I'm doing very well, but it's good enough because with my children and my household setup, and because since COVID hit, my kids were home, so I had to leave my job, my full-time job. So it works for me, and even if I get a few clients, a month, 2-3 clients here and there. So for now, it's fine. I do know as a business woman, people tell me that I should raise my price point and stuff. But then I go like, then if I do that, then I'm kind of just touching a certain market, only a certain market that can afford me, and then what's the point? Because if I'm trying to help the common person here, common man here, so it's still a journey, and I like doing it. It's I don't know where my business will go per se, maybe in a couple of years, but I'm not very aggressive about it. I don't want to be. I want to enjoy the journey. I want to enjoy my girls. They're both sitting here next to me. One is here. It's right here drawing. This is my little one. It's I'm right now visiting. I'm in Karachi. I'm in my parents' house right now, and it's 12:30 midnight.
I
But
I know,
they,
right? Yeah, it's too late time over there, right? And so thank you very much for coming on this late for you as well, because I know you traveled back from US, but you still because we had already committed for this, and
yeah.
you still came on. Um, so when you became an entrepreneur and started on this journey for your own business and your own practice. Um, did you thought of marketing, for example? Did you, how did you, because entrepreneur has to wear so many different hats. They have to worry about maybe how I'm going to get clients, where I go.
Things because to be honest, when I did my NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and I did it for myself. I did not know at that point that I could become a coach, or I could become, do what I'm doing right now. So I had not done this master practitioner course with the intention of becoming a coach. But when I did it and I realized this is something I'm good at, my mother still laughs. She goes like picked up a profession which she's good at, which is talking. So I'm like, this is something that I'm good at, and I can talk to people and I can listen to them and hear their stories. So that's how I ventured into this. And with the marketing, I haven't really and have never really given a lot of thought to it. A lot of people do approach me for marketing. So I'm still kind of in the process. I don't know where I am. So I kind of started my Facebook page. I started my own, because initially when I started with my own personal Facebook. And then I kind of made my page, and now I'm on Instagram. So it's a process, and I'm not kind of taking too much on myself. I'm not overwhelming myself. So just going with the pace.
I love that. So, because you mentioned that quite a few times as well, so that you're enjoying the journey of being an entrepreneur and being able to help people. Because it's all at the end about that journey. It's not about, getting that result. Because a lot of people get stuck in that, oh, I need to get a result. I'm a business person now. I need to make profits. I need to achieve this.
I have a belief in that because, when I came to US and I did not work for 10 years initially, and then when I landed a job in clinical research, it came to me. And at that time, my little one was starting kindergarten. And I was like, okay, now she's starting school, my little one. And now I have this job knocking at my door. And it actually came at my door. I never went looking for it. So, and now after 3 years, I'm doing this. So somewhere I know that if it's meant to be, it will happen. I just need to work, with passion, with honesty, and just do my thing and hope for the best. If it's meant to happen, it will happen. And I don't know how long it will take. I do have my daughters. I'm waiting for COVID to get over, and things to go back to normal. And yeah, so there I
Well,
am.
that's actually, I love the way you've just mentioned that, it's wait for the job came knocking at your door. And so what I'm hearing from all this is be ready for whatever comes your way and recognize the opportunities, right? So everything comes at the right time.
So, like before that, I was, in that 10-year period, I was kind of worried, like everybody, I'm wasting away my education. I had two daughters, so I had postpartum depression also. So, the same thing that everybody goes through, and then I was like, okay, because I'm a doctor, I was like, I'll do some ultrasound course. I do some other course here and there, and I was trying to look into it. And then this came. So now I'm a believer that if it's meant to be, it will happen, and I just have to run my course. And because now my daughters are at that age, they're 8 and 10, so they need me, and they are at the end of the day my priority. Whatever I'm doing is for them. So I cannot do something at the expense of them. So if they allow me, and if whatever I do with them or for them allows me, I'll do it. If it doesn't, if it affects it, I won't do it. You know, one of my friends once told me, you know, when in the 10-year period when I was not working, I was still very active. I volunteered with Kiwanis. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's Kiwanis International is a children's NGO. It's a organization that works for children in the US. So they have a chapter. I volunteered with them. And then I also was with Moms Club of Fresno North, and I was a board member there. And so whatever I've done with my kids around me. And one of my friends even commented that, oh, Hina, what we love about what you do is that your kids are always around you. Like even right now, they're here. You know,
Yes,
so they're like, whatever, whether you're going out and doing something physically. And, you know, when the Syrian families came to Fresno, you know, I was there. When, you know, there are other small fundraiser activities happening in town, I'm there and my kids are with me, you know. Or if even if I'm working at home and giving an interview or creating my own, whatever, you know, YouTube or my own seminars and trainings, they're here. And they can see my kids running around me. So I say, yeah, because my life revolves around them. And I never take my kids as a burden on me. And that's what I tell a lot of parents, especially new mothers, because once they have kids, they start feeling restricted, that they can't do things because of their kids. Do things with your kids. I tell them, you know, they say women need a me time. I always say my me time is with my girls. So when I need a me time, I sit with them and chat. I draw, I paint, we go out to the park, we play badminton. That's my me time. My me time is not sitting alone, watching a movie alone, or going on a date night with my husband, or doing a women's night out. You know, my me time is with them because they help me relax. When I sit and chat with them, imagine having a conversation with an 80-year-old. Her, you know, you just laugh. You're just listening to them talking, and they're talking about their school and their friends, and you're just laughing. They're telling you their stories of their cartoons of Miraculous Ladybug, and you're just listening and you're laughing. You know, it takes away all my stress of my day. So I do things with my kids, and that's what I tell most of the mothers. You know, when I got married and when I had these kids, it was my choice. You know, so like when you get married and you have children, you make that choice. So now, then why regret it? You know, why say, oh, now I have children, I can't do this. I do things what you can with them,
I
right?
agree. I agree. 100%. I agree. Yeah. You know, it's and I love that, you know, you have your girls around you every time, and you know they're here for this as well, Tuesday Talks, and I can hear them in the background as well. So it's amazing to. But even though when you are saying you weren't, you know, working for that 10 years, but you were actively participating, you know, so that is pretty much you were active. You know, that is
I
part of
was writing
work.
for a website. I wrote health articles, you know. I was like a ghostwriter for them, so they didn't put in my name. It was a Chinese based, so I wrote health articles for them. And for Kiwanis, I was taking care of their newsletter, so these were things I was doing from home, and I wasn't getting paid. Again, I want to tell this to a lot of girls too. People want jobs, they want instant money, they want instant success. Live your life. Things come, you know, like when I did all these things and when I put it on my resume, this is all my volunteer work. I did not work per se in the sense that I did not earn money that 10 years, but I worked. I did a lot of
Yeah.
things. I was very active in the community. I started a Mommy and Me program for my community center, for the Muslim community center in my masjid. You know, I learned it from the Moms Club. And when I learned how they're doing and what they're doing, I brought it into the community. I'm like, we should do it too amongst us. So why don't we do things that these other women do here? So it takes, I think it takes courage do that. Not many people have the courage to initiate.
But I love the fact that, you know, you're active, and what I'm hearing from the story also is, you know, to be uh to be active in terms of, yeah, you didn't earn money does not mean you weren't doing nothing. You were still participating, you were still being active in the community, you were still doing things, you were still giving, right? You were still giving your time. So for someone to give your time is already helping a lot of people. And then you had your girls around you anyway, so that wasn't really affecting you in terms of, right, oh, I'm doing all these things and my time is being wasted. No, it's not. And the time would have been
My
wasted if you were not
husband,
doing anything.
yes, my husband used to sometimes say, why? And a lot of men do. A lot of men do tell their wives, why? What's need? Why are you doing it? You know, sometimes it's not the money. It's just they want to keep themselves busy. They want to keep themselves mentally engaged and intellectually alive. You know, it's so important. You know, you get out of the house, you dress up, you are able to interact with people. If I wouldn't have done it, I know I would have been a very typical housewife. You know, just being home and doing nothing. You have to grow with the people. You have to grow with the community. You have to grow in them. And that's what I tell everybody, you know, even here in Pakistan, you know, one of my cousins, she once said that I wish we were in US, that we could help the Syrian refugees. And I'm like, why Syrian refugees only? In Pakistan, there's so much poverty, you know. You want to help, go out there. You can, if you don't want to kind of start a project maybe, but there are already projects out there. You know, we have the ED center here, or we have other NGOs or welfare organizations that are working. Go and help them out. You know, and sometimes a lot of people just feel giving the money or doing chat is enough charity. You know, and I living in US, they see me doing things and then they go like, oh, she's doing so much. Well, you can do it too. You can do it in Pakistan. You can do it in India. You can do it anywhere in the world. For that, you need to get out of the house yourself. It's
I love that. And
it's easier to look at me and see things, but you see, it's hard. It's not that easy. I have the same house as other people. I have the same husband. I have the similar life. In fact, we work more in US. You know, we don't have a lot of domestic help that people here have. But we have to take the initiative ourselves. Nobody's going to do it for us.
I was going to say that. I mean, being in Europe and US, there's no help. There's no cleaner coming to clean your house. There's no certain helps that you can get in the other parts of the countries, right, or the world. And you doing that, it takes a lot of effort. So I would like to say thank you very much for coming on today and sharing such an amazing story. And we should be wrapping this up. Obviously, let you have your rest as well. It's very late where you are now. What would you like to say to wrap this up? Something to inspiring for the people who are listening.
Support each other. Love each other. Do not judge each other. I would really say that to all men and women. Stop saying mean things to each other. Be kind. It's so important. Just a kind gesture, just a smile, just showing that you understand or you care, that's enough. This is so important. I've seen just one word of kindness, it can change someone's life. You don't know what other people are going through. So if they're having issues, if they're having anger issues, if they're having other issues, don't label them that they're mad, they need help. Don't make getting help a hard thing. Don't make it like as if it's something so bad and so wrong that they feel guilty about getting the help. Don't make them feel guilty. If your wife, your child, your mother, or your even men in your life need help, do it with pride because you're getting them the help. It's just like, how we say, if a sink in your house is broken and you can't fix it, who will get a plumber? Do you feel guilty about it? Do you feel guilty about the fact that I can't fix a sink in my house, or I can't fix a light bulb in my house, or something, whatever? You get the help that you need. Okay, so if something you cannot fix and you feel it's getting out of hand, get the help, and don't make them feel bad about it, and don't feel bad about it yourself.
Love this. Thank you very much for sharing such an amazing wisdom with us today. And your lovely girls which were walking past us now earlier as well, they were a very nice voice. So I would like to say, anybody who has been watching this IG live, thank you for being with us throughout the episode. It will be left on IG TV for people to watch, or rewind and watch it from the beginning who've just joined late. And I also would like to say is, if you are watching this with us, or you're listening to this later as well, and you found something very inspiring or a light bulb moment that has happened to you, it's our duty now to share this with others. Because if we got inspired, or we had a light bulb moment, or we found something, you know, saying, oh yeah, you know, this is something we should do, it's not for us to keep it with us. We need to share it with anybody and everybody who just appeared in your mind by watching this episode, because we do not know who's just woken up or gone to bed thinking of a better tomorrow than today. So, and your sharing this episode might just ignite the same feelings that you are having now by watching this. So thank you very much for your time, Hina, and we will be back again next Tuesday, everybody, with another amazing soul as well. And thank you again, Hina.
Have a good day. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.